Hi, my name is Vincent, and today I want to take a look at finding the missing side of a right triangle using the basic trigonometric functions. So we have the problem, a 12-foot ladder leaning against a vertical wall forms a 65-degree angle with the ground. How far is the base, which means bottom, of the ladder from the wall? And we want to round our answer to the nearest hundredth. So the first thing we want to do is get a visual of what's going on in this problem. We have a 12-foot ladder. So to the best of my artistic ability, I'm going to draw this ladder. And now I'm going to apologize in advance because all of my ladders tend to come out looking like a piece of film reel. So we got this ladder here, okay, and it's 12 feet long. And it's leaning against a vertical wall. And what that means is that the wall was built correctly and it forms a 90-degree angle with the ground. That is, a vertical wall forms a 90-degree angle to the ground. And now the last piece of information we want to fill in, we know that the ladder forms a 65-degree angle with the ground. So what that means is that the angle built here between the ladder and the ground measures 65 degrees. So we can label this angle inside the right triangle 65 degrees. So now we want to use one of these trigonometric functions to find how far the base of the ladder is from the wall. So we want to find this side of our right triangle. So we're looking for this side here. So now let's think, when we have some right triangle in general with angle x, and let's say we feed, remember the trigonometric functions are functions of angles. You feed it an angle, it'll give you a ratio of sides. So if we feed angle x to the sine function, it's going to give us a ratio of the side opposite of x, which means across from x. It's going to give us a ratio of the opposite side to the hypotenuse. And remember, the hypotenuse is always its own entity and it's opposite of the 90-degree angle. So sine gives us a ratio of the opposite side to the hypotenuse. If we were to use cosine and we fed it angle x, it's going to give us the side adjacent to angle x, and it's going to give us a ratio of that adjacent side to the hypotenuse. And finally, if we were to feed angle x to the tangent function, it's going to give us a ratio of the side opposite of x to the side adjacent to x. So in this case here, we know the hypotenuse of this right triangle, the side opposite the 90-degree angle, but we're trying to find the side adjacent to 65 degrees. Or I'm sorry, the side adjacent to the 65-degree angle. So which of the trigonometric functions uses the adjacent side of a right triangle and the hypotenuse of a right triangle? Is going to be cosine. So this is the one we want to use to solve this problem. So what we're going to do is we're going to feed cosine a 65-degree angle. And in general, cosine gives us a ratio of the side adjacent to the angle to the hypotenuse of that triangle. So what side is adjacent to this 65-degree angle? Well, the distance from the base of the ladder to the wall. And we'll call that distance for now, we'll call it x. So the adjacent side, x, divided by the hypotenuse, which we do know to be 12 feet. But I'm going to leave the units of measurement out for now. We will remember that x is to be measured in feet, and we'll put that in back at the end. So now we have our ratio set up. Cosine of 65 equals x over 12, the adjacent side over the hypotenuse. And now let's think of this as cosine of 65 degrees over 1. And the reason why I want to look at it this way is because most students, when they're solving for x, and x is part of a fraction, they prefer to cross multiply. So now when we cross multiply, we have x times 1, which is x. So we have x equals, and now we're going to multiply 12 times cosine of 65. So x equals 12 times cosine of 65 degrees. We always have to emphasize that we're feeding it degrees. So now there's two ways we could do this. We could simplify cosine of 65 first and then multiply that by 12. Or we could tell our calculator 12 cosine of 65 and we'll get the answer that way also. But let's say we did it the first way. We would have 12 times, and now the cosine of 65 degrees would give us 0.42261826117. It would give us a long decimal. So now we want to multiply 12 times this long decimal, and we'll get our answer x equals and we'll have 5.0714191441. But remember, we want to round our answer to the nearest hundredth, so we're going to look out up to the hundredths place, and we're going to focus on one digit to the right of the hundredths place. And notice how it's a 1, so this tells us to round down. So our answer x is equal to 5.07, but now we can put our unit of measurement back in. Remember, we're measuring in feet, so our answer is 5.07 feet. So this would be our answer to the problem. Find the distance from the base of the ladder to the wall. We have 5.07 feet. Okay, well, this is going to conclude this finding the missing side of a right triangle using the trigonometric functions video. Thank you all for watching, and I hope that this was helpful.